Hello and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Solstice. My name's Leo, I'm a boat builder and a sailor, and you know the rest. Anyway, this video is going to be all about chopping up the lead keel essentially. As you guys know, I tried to add some material to the original keel to increase its weight a little bit, and that all went horribly wrong. There was hot lead went everywhere and it was kind of disastrous, but some lessons were learned and nobody got hurt and it was fine really. But after that I was trying to decide whether to repair it again or repair it further, or to just completely recast it and re-pour it. So obviously I did decide that we're going to recast it, and so the next step is to get the keel moved from Squim, where it is at the old location, down here to Port Townsend, where we're going to find somewhere to actually do that lead pour. Also in this video we're going to be looking at some of the working boats that are having work done in this yard, and we're going to be looking at one boat in particular that's got a pretty interesting story, and meeting that boat's new owner and new captain. So we're out in Squim at the site where the boat was before we moved it, and we've been here a few days over the last couple of weeks, just doing a lot of clearing and tidying. One of the biggest jobs is to actually move the ballast keel. We're going to be re-pouring the ballast keel in a month or two down in Port Townsend. So the first thing is to try and get it chopped up into lots of different pieces, which will be lighter, and we can hopefully do that with a chainsaw, but before that I'm going to see if I can move it around with a forklift a little bit, and we know it's got some weaknesses in it, so maybe we'll be able to just break it in half. Well, the forklift trick worked pretty well. We managed to break a piece off either end of the keel, but I think for this middle piece, it's all pretty solid. I think I'm gonna have to resort to the chainsaw. Now, apparently this should work. I've never done it, no idea. Seems kind of sketchy, but let's find out. Well, the chainsaw's cutting really well through the lead. That's pretty amazing, really. Having cut halfway through, I was thinking maybe I could just lift it on the cut and split it open, but clearly that didn't work. I was just lifting the back wheels of the forklift off the ground. If I cut further through it, it probably would work, but I don't want to get the saw jammed in there, so I think I'm going to put a block in the middle and then cut through it more like that. So that first cut went really pretty amazingly well. It was really surprisingly quick. It's a very bizarre feeling to be chainsawing through metal, but lead is very soft and it seems to just work. In fact, the teeth don't even feel dull, so it's pretty amazing. So cutting up the lead with a chainsaw actually went surprisingly well, surprisingly smooth. It took a little bit of time, but the chain cut the chainsaw really well. It's just a standard wood chain, nothing special about it, just using standard cutting oil in the saw. And amazingly, the teeth even seem like they're still sharp after all of that. The saw did throw a lot of lead chips around, and they're so heavy that just having them hit against my leg was actually quite painful, which is a strange sensation when using a chainsaw, but managed to catch all the chips with the tarp that I had set down. And then we spent quite a long time after we'd cleared up the tarp just double checking over the ground, picking up any loose pieces that had bounced off and ended up on the ground. So we've done a really careful cleanup here. Now where I cut the lead, it looked really clean inside, but at the two places where I was able to break it using the forklift, at where it broke, there was already a crack, there was already damage to the keel, and you can see that very clearly. And there could be more cracks like that, which we haven't found. So really doing this has just sort of reinforced my opinion that this was the right thing to do, that recasting the lead keel was a better option than trying to repair it. So one of the things that I really like about this boatyard in Port Townsend is the fleet of fishing boats and workboats that come here to have work done. There's a lot of different styles of workboat here, a lot of wooden boats, and a lot of history, a lot of good stories, and a lot of really interesting characters, all the people that own and work on these boats. So today we're going to be having a really quick look on board Roedda, which is the wooden fishing tender behind me, and we're going to be meeting her new owner and captain, Alex.
Hi, my name is Alex, also known as Tank, and this is my beautiful boat. Her name's the Roedda, and she was built in 1931 as just a wood workboat, and she's been tendering for a very long time. this is the Roedda, beautiful Roedda, the engine room. It's where all the magic happens, the heartbeat of the vessel. This boat is part of the marine fishing industry, primarily up in Southeast Alaska. So, you know, we interact as a tender. So we're a fish purchaser for the fishermen out on the fleet. It allows for them to continue fishing on the grounds without having to spend the day and a half or more to run all their product back to town. So we end up being immersed into that whole industry itself. I'm coming into owning this boat. It's going to be a slow process, but I'm really looking forward to it. And the responsibilities of that come along with it are definitely terrifying, but exciting too. It's really neat to be getting in this position too, being out in the Southeast Alaska fleet. There are a lot of female captains, but not a whole bunch. And I'll be one of the few female tender captains in the new OBI Petersburg plant and the youngest on the fleet. So I'm looking really forward to showing my worth out there and proving to everybody that I'm a good investment for them. Right now, we're basically rebuilding the old refrigeration system. It was a kind of obsolete ammonia ran system, and we're updating it to a new Freon. And so with that, there's a lot that goes into it: new circulation systems, a new genset on our Jimmy that runs, and then various other projects go with it. So we're hoping to get the deadline in before I have to get back to work.
So I'm standing underneath Roedda, next to her enormous prop, and behind me is the building which Tally Ho is inside. So we're on the back side of that building now, and in the other part of the building, from the part which I rent, there are various other marine professionals who rent and work out of that space who you guys haven't met yet, but they're part of this sort of really good little community we got here in this building and the workshops around it, and they've been helping me out with advice and connections and so on. So I want to start introducing some of those people to you guys. So we're going to start off by meeting Joe Smith, who is actually doing work on Roedda right now, and he's a very talented systems guy and also an ex-commercial fisherman.
Yeah, my name's Joe, and I have Ocean Systems here in Port Townsend. Marine electrician and refrigeration, but also I do some diesel work, plumbing, pretty much anything in an engine room. I came from a background of commercial fishing in Alaska, dabbled in sailboats, did some cruising, and I just moved into this collective building here in the spring, working on this boat Roedda. She's a salmon tender in Southeast Alaska, pretty classic Southeast Alaska tender. Ship's rigging, no cranes, just putting an electric genset in, converting the old 471 that was driving hydraulics to more of an electrical system, more modern refrigeration system. Having been in boatyards and marinas literally up the coast from Mexico all the way to Kodiak, Port Townsend's super unique. And the thing that makes it unique is that by being in a public facility, the Port of Port Townsend, it allows everybody to work here, from people like myself who started in a pickup truck. That's kind of a classic business model in this community, up to big outfits like the Shipwrights Co-op that started small and just grew and grew and grew with a great business plan, and attracted a lot of really skilled workers. So I mean, I would humbly say that we have more access to trades in this town than probably any other boatyard on the west coast of America.
Well, that was really interesting, I thought, to get the tour of Roedda and to meet Alex, and I'm continually impressed by all the different people I meet in this yard, their various stories and their adventures and skills, and especially on the commercial side of the maritime industry. Now though, it's time to go back to Squim, and I need to try and pick up that lead, all that lead, and actually move it down here. It's probably, there's probably around 7 tons of it in total. So luckily I've got a friend who's going to help me out. He's got a heavy duty trailer. I'm going to try and load it up and get it down here. All right, so we've got the lead moved, you know, and in the end it didn't take that long, but it was one of those jobs which was weighing on my mind heavily because I wasn't quite sure how we were going to do it, how it was going to go, and also it wasn't very good leaving all that stuff up there for so long. So really happy to have done that. I've been doing a lot of planning work for re-pouring the keel, figuring out how we're going to do that safely, where we're going to do it, you know, what techniques and methods are going to be used. I am working with someone who made a successful career out of fabricating lead keels and has made several thousand of them in his life. So hopefully we're in good hands there, and it'll be really interesting to actually go through that process with him. We'll be doing that pretty early on next year, hopefully. There's also been a lot of other stuff going on here. You've only just seen a couple of days work in this video, but there's been a lot going on. Everyone's been really busy with all sorts of things on the boat, but that'll all be sort of coming up and being covered in the next videos. But for now, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Solstice, whatever you celebrate, and thanks so much for watching. And a massive thank you to everyone who has donated or otherwise supported this project. It does make a huge difference, and it means that we're able to keep doing this work and I'm able to keep making these videos. So I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.